Hey Soul Surfers, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for all of your likes, shares, comments, subscribes. It means so much to me. And I'm so grateful to have you for today's topic where we are talking about the shadow. I feel like the shadow is quite misunderstood, and I feel this way mainly because it was misunderstood by me for quite some time. I also feel like the shadow gets a bad reputation because people think the shadow is bad or it's a bad side of ourselves. And that's not true. The shadow side of ourselves is just the parts of ourselves that are hidden away from the world. So I think the reason that the shadow is associated with being bad is because when we hid these parts of ourselves away, we may have been told from people outside of us, people we loved and cared about or wanted their approval from, that if we showed these parts of ourselves, that we would be rejected, or maybe they rejected us when we did show these parts of ourselves, or we would be punished for showing these parts of ourselves, or any other negative consequence that may come as a result of showing this part of ourselves. The other reason I think that the shadow is considered to be bad is because we have this idea in our minds that we're taught in society from growing up, and you see it in movies and TV, that the dark is bad. Dark is equated with bad. So even in movies, it's the dark side is the evil side. They're bad. They want to destroy things. They want to ruin everything. And the light is the good side. That's the part that, wants to save the day. But when we're taught that the dark is a bad part of ourselves, it makes it hard for us to want to accept those parts of ourselves. So really, the shadow side, like I said, is any part of us that is hidden. Now, this is not necessarily things that we want to keep hidden that we are ashamed of because we're ashamed of perhaps the way we behaved or the way we spoke or any kinds of those things. It also is the parts of ourselves, like hidden talents that we have that we were too afraid to show. For example, if you love singing and you're great at singing, and you started singing and somebody in your family told you not to show off, or maybe they thought that you weren't a great singer, but someone else really loved your singing. Or perhaps your family had a career path in mind for you, so they didn't want you to pursue this talent. The point is that these hidden parts of ourselves, even these talents and qualities that we have that are hidden, are part of the shadow. So as you can see, it's not about good or bad. They're the parts that are hidden. So when you think about a shadow in the context of, everyday life, a shadow is something that's cast. It's cast because there's no light that is being shown on it. So to do shadow work, what that means is to basically shine light on these parts of ourselves that we were taught to hide for whatever reason, because we thought that we would be rejected or abandoned for showing them, or we learned them and society has told us that behaviors such as those, we will be, outcast or unloved or unlovable for behaving in such a manner. Think about kids, for example, when they act out or they're crying or they're feeling an emotion. A parent may say, conditionally, they may say, "Stop acting like a baby. Don't act like that. That's not how you're supposed to act. You need to act this way. You need to act this way." And by not letting the child have that emotion flow freely, in that instance, they're taught that emotions are bad and they should keep them hidden and suppressed and not express how they feel. So oftentimes emotions can really become a part of our shadow because we are taught that showing them is bad or not good, or our parents will reject us, or somebody will reject us if we show that emotion. So we don't shine light on those emotions, we keep them suppressed, and that's when they become part of the shadow. A lot of times I think this is why shadow work is construed as being kind of difficult or challenging, especially when it comes to emotions. And it can also be such an emotional process because in childhood and through society, we're taught to suppress those emotions. And when we do that and suppress those parts of ourselves, it's just stuffing it all down. And when we finally shine the light on it and open the gates, it all kind of comes flooding out. I really encourage you not to look at the shadow as a bad thing, because when you do shadow work, you oftentimes uncover hidden gifts and talents that you had no idea you had, or that you had, but now as you do the shadow work and you become more in your authentic self, you can use those hidden talents that you are hiding away from the world, and they bring you so much joy. That's the thing. These talents and things that were hidden oftentimes are the things that we love doing, and we've been told we shouldn't do them for whatever reason, either because society will look down on us, or our family will disown us, or whatever other reason we shouldn't do it, because it's not a lucrative job, it's not going to make us money, because society is quite focused on material things. So instead of focusing on the joy, which a lot of times these hidden, unique gifts that we uncover during our shadow work, they do bring us joy and they do bring us excitement. And I think that's also why too, when you do shadow work, it leads you to your purpose. So really the shadow is just secrets. It's a secret part of yourself that the world may not know about. Some people may. For example, family secrets can be a big part of the shadow. For example, addiction, having addiction in a family, that's a family secret. You're not supposed to talk about it. What will people think? People may, view the family this way if you talk about it. But coming along with those shadow parts, such as addiction, there's things that a lot of times we need to talk about, and we're made to feel that we can't talk about those things. So that's why they become the shadow, because there's no light shined on it. Oftentimes with these shadow aspects, I feel a big emotion that is tied to it is shame. Shame, I think, is the biggest thing. And since we feel shame connected with these shadow aspects, that's why we suppress them. And one of my very favorite sayings, it's very powerful, I find it very powerful, is shame cannot survive the sunlight. So the great thing about doing shadow work is that you shine the light on all of these hidden areas of yourself. And by doing that, the shame dissipates. It no longer has control over you or power over you. And it's not just shame. There are other emotions that are likely tied to these. I just have found for myself and through talking with others that shame seems to be the core emotion tied to why we keep these things hidden and in the shadow. So the more we bring these shadow aspects to light, these hidden parts of ourselves, remember, it's not good or bad. The shadow just is. It's just the hidden parts of ourselves. The more we bring light to the shadow, the freer we are. The more free we are from being controlled by our emotions, by being controlled by the things outside of us that we can't control, because we can only control what's within. And the more you shine the light on these shadow aspects of yourself, the freer, happier, and more joyful you're going to feel. Because when you release these feelings that are associated with keeping these parts of yourself hidden, the more room there is for joy and happiness and light, actual light. Your body composition is going to change. Your cells are going to upgrade and ascend, because joy and shame and happiness and shame and love and shame cannot vibrate in the same area. They are a vibrational mismatch. So the more you shine the light on your shadow and start loving it for what it is, all aspects of yourself, that is the biggest takeaway from shadow work, is doing shadow work helps you love and accept all parts of yourself. The things that we are keeping hidden in the shadow of ourselves are the parts of ourselves we are rejecting, the parts that we are abandoning and turning away instead of looking at them and saying, I love you. And it's okay that this has happened, because this is what we are taught. These are patterns that have been passed down from generations in families, in society. That is the big key in shadow work, is to love and accept all of yourself. Every part, the parts that are already in the light and seen, the parts that are hidden and unseen in the shadow, bringing those to the surface to shine the light on them, and loving, accepting, and integrating those into your life. Because like I said, the more you do that and bring those things up to light, the quicker and better life is going to be, the happier you're going to be, and the more you're going to feel free from control, from external factors that you once felt powerless against. The other great thing about shining light on the shadow is that your experiences can help other people. I guarantee you that everything that you have gone through, somebody else has experienced. Maybe not exactly the same way, but they can relate to it in one way or another because they've experienced the same things. And they're probably thinking the same thing as you, that nobody else has ever gone through this. No one could ever know what this is like. And they may feel shame about that. And the more we share the shadow parts of ourselves with the world, the more we're unified because we see that we really are all connected. And there's always somebody out there who has known and experienced something that we have. So do yourself a favor and shine the light on your shadow, because you are going to find your true inner power and authenticity by doing just that. All right, soul surfers, let me know in the comments below, what parts of your shadow are you ready to free? What parts of your shadow are you ready to shine the light on so that others can see that they are not alone? I know for me, the shadow side that I've brought to light has been my inner child, my wounded inner child. I have brought her forward, and I have some videos here that I'll link that talk about the inner child, so that if the inner child is part of your shadow that you would like to bring to the light and surface, you can check out the videos. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thanks again for all your likes, comments, shares, subscribes. Can't wait to see what you have to say in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video.